All right, we're back. Sorry for that cut in between. Little Google Meet error, online error. But getting into the NFL topics quickly. First off, Jonathan Taylor's new contract. I don't know. I mean, I'll start off by saying it was a stupid idea, in my opinion. I think it was. Zach Moss is showing why you don't pay a running back. This dude, Jonathan Taylor, comes back. It's the first week he's back. But the first week he's back, Zach Moss goes off for 2 touchdowns, and I don't even remember how many yards, after this dude gets a 3-year, $42 million extension. This dude just comes out and shows that the second option can do better than the $42 million running back. So, I mean, in my opinion, it was kind of stupid to pay, especially him, that much. I honestly think he's one of the more overrated players I've seen. He had that insane game, and then his name was up there, and then everyone was just on his shit, and then now he's here. And I don't think he's going to perform anywhere near the level he did.
He was the best running back in a year where almost all the running backs were hurt. I will say that. But
yeah. But that's why.
The Colts also aren't bad at like just building their running backs. They had Hines when they had JT as well. They now have Zach Moss. I think you pay him though still, just because of like what he can be, especially next to AR. You know, the same reason that you're lower on JT should be a reason why you're lower on Zach Moss. This is year 1 for him in terms of him being this productive. It could easily go away. Same with injuries, especially with the kind of running back he is. Those up the middle guys tend to get hurt more. So I mean, having JT there, and you have an all pro caliber running back, alongside him, and I think especially next year, it's gonna be great because you can run more dual stuff with split backs. You can run more dual back stuff with AR. Trying to get him to not leave the pocket as much, stuff like that. So
that's if AR stays healthy.
Yeah. I mean, you want to try to prevent, as much as possible, and having JT there because he can catch the ball. So it's like, it's just more options for AR. So I don't hate it.
I've been saying this, like we'll get into it with the Dolphins when we get there, but like teams who have pass catching running backs, like the Dolphins, like the Colts kind of do, like the Niners do, I think you line them up at slot for a decent amount of plays sometimes. Like they were doing, like the 49ers did that with Debo. They had him line up at running back when he was a receiver. I don't see why teams don't utilize running backs as receivers more and just make more threats. Like you could do that especially with having JT and Moss now. Like I feel like it would just work out well.
I feel like they would do that with JT a couple years ago when he was performing at that all-pro level. You just put him in a slot and ask him to run a drag. Unless they're like CMC or Austin Eckler or Kamara. You ask them to run anything almost.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I don't mind paying running backs more. Like, I do think that they're a very important position, and you can see that because they can be dual threats. They can block for your quarterback. They can win you games. But Jonathan Taylor specifically, I think it was a little much that they paid him. Like, I think he could have gone on a 3-year, $30 million. And I feel like he doesn't deserve the whole 42. Just from like what we've seen. Like we've seen 1 or 2 years of very decent productive ball from him. And I feel like they needed to see a little bit more before just paying him that much without trading him or something.
It was also very decent productive ball with him being the only real offensive producer on the team. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah, seeing him with other weapons next to him and a whole QB next to him, he might have a even better season than he's already had. So who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you ever do pay a running back, it's while your quarterback is on a rookie scale contract. So it's not like their salary cap is totally ruined by paying Jonathan Taylor because they're going to have Anthony Richardson on a rookie deal. They still going to have money to work with.
That's true. I didn't think about that, honestly.
Yeah, this is a good signing for them, I think.
It's not.
It could work out. It's like we've already said many times. It's a boom or bust situation.
We know how you feel about paying running backs. I'm not a Giants fan.
Look. I would rather pay Saquon than Daniel Jones. I'll say that. But once you pay a quarterback, once a quarterback is on their second contract, the bare minimum is 40 mil. And it's like once you paying their minimum, the quarterback minimum wage of $40 million, it's harder to have a running back like that being on your team. Like most of the teams, the Eagles, they pay their quarterback a lot of money. They don't got no crazy running back. DeAndre Swift, he produces crazy, but like last year on the Lions, he wasn't. Yeah, quarterback helps the running back produce a lot. If you have one of those guys who you should be paying 40 mil, Patrick Mahomes, he makes every running back besides Clyde look amazing.
It's the same with a good run game though. Like CMC's making Brock Purdy look like an all-pro.
Yes, I agree, but it's easier for a quarterback to do it than a running back. Like we saw even Derrick Henry, it would be kind of hard for him to help Ryan Tannehill that much. Just because of the pass game option. But CMC, he has the run and the pass. CMC is one of those like he could bring
JT has that too. JT's one of those guys too.
JT does, but not to the same level as McCaffrey.
Yeah,
but JT does.
Nobody is on the same level as McCaffrey.
Yeah, JT does. Though. JT does.
No, I would say this though. I think it's time that we change the precedent for QBs. This is a QB heavy league at this point, man.
Yeah.
And paying QBs like they're still rare and invaluable, it just doesn't make sense.
I know.
So,
yeah, bro. You know what? I like that take. I actually agree.
Because there's a lot of good QBs who just don't have the other weapons around them because they're getting paid too much.
Look at Josh Dobbs, bro.
A decent amount.
Like, bro, they just got a guy 2 weeks before the season starts, and he's producing. He's performing well as any QB that's on their minimum contract. So it's like, why do we need to be paying these guys 40 mil when I can go find a QB that's just been in the league chilling and he can produce for me the same kind of way he is. Same with Geno Smith. Geno Smith did the same thing. Came in, year one, new to the team, producing. And it's the same thing y'all want to say about Zach Moss, right? So I don't see what the issue is at this point in not paying QBs this crazy amount of money.
Teams value age too much when they're paying. A little bit too much at quarterback, because you could argue Gardner Minshew should be a starting quarterback, but no team wants to build around him just because of his age.
I was just about to bring him up.
Yeah, Gardner Minshew ain't even that bad, but like no team wants to build around him. They rather just shoot for the upside but pay for it. The QB market is just Patrick Mahomes got it in a chokehold right now because how much he's getting paid, and everyone's comparing their contracts to his contract because everybody, when they sign a contract, they want to be the highest paid player at their respective position in history, and no one should be getting paid like Mahomes. Like I don't
no one
should
be making $500 million on a contract. It's
that's true.
I still can't believe that contract. Like I'll never.
The thing about it is
it's a long contract, but
the thing about it is he already told. That's the thing about Mahomes. He's not on that contract anymore. Every year. He breaks his contract and signs more APY, average per year, and it makes the whole quarterback market want to beat his contract, and it just makes quarterbacks get paid so much because they're all trying to beat Mahomes' number.
Yeah.
It's like, and then once you got all those quarterbacks like Herbert, Lamar, Hurts, Burrow, you got like 10 quarterbacks that will sit there and argue with their team, hey, I need to get paid what Mahomes got, right? And then they get it. And then after that, you'll see like the quarterbacks one tier below them, like Dak Prescott be like, hey, so Burrow get paid this much? Hey, give me 10 mil less. Yeah. And they end up with 50 mil somehow. Like, what the
I get it. I see how it starts. It's Mahomes. He sets the market. He is the QB to beat. So if you want to, because like when you have a Joe Burrow, his best leverage is any given night, I can beat Mahomes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same with Lamar, same with those other top QBs. So you want to pay them like, hey, if we want to be competitive in this league, we need to have a guy that can compete with Mahomes. And then the guys below them are just like, hey, any given night, I could probably beat Joe Burrow. I could probably beat Lamar. They get 10 mil less. It makes sense. I don't like it, but it makes sense.
Yeah, the only problem with that though is like along with like comparing them to other players, as soon as a lot of them get big contracts, and just most players in general, not even specifically quarterbacks, but I think especially quarterbacks, you pay them the big money and the decline starts right after, like for a decent amount of players. Like,
Yeah.
it's way too early to say it for Joe Burrow, but it looks like he had one great game last week. Besides that, it's been terrible since he got his new contract. Lamar had the MVP season, got his money, and we haven't seen a lot from him at all since then. Like, it's just there's a decent amount of players who, after they get their big money, you just see a decline in them.
Dak Prescott, Carson Wentz.
Yeah,
It happens.
especially Dak.
It's the contract year. It's not that you're seeing a decline. It's that you saw an incline for the contract year.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's true.
man, what's the best? The best example for that, I'm thinking NBA though, is like I think Nerlens Noel did it one year. He had a contract year and he balled out, got his money, and was just on a bench player for the rest of that contract.
In the NBA,
Yeah.
the best contract year player you could have is like D'Lo. D'Lo on a contract year is different,
On a
bro.
contract year.
D'Lo be
Yeah.
balling on the contract year. Hey, that's just how it be,
But-
man.
Yeah, contract year is hey, I don't care about
Great
injuries,
motivation.
I don't care about nothing. I'm going out there and I'm running my check. So
Yeah.
But I mean, could end up working for the Colts, I guess. Like, it comes down to like the future. It's like the most of the stuff we've been talking about today is just it could be boom, it could be bust. But
Yeah.
you can always trade him still.
yeah, that's true too. Like, his contract isn't too insane where teams aren't going to want to trade for him either. Like, it could end up working out overall, and they could end up trading him keeping Zach Moss, and giving Anthony Richardson some receivers. Then they just need to draft some defense, and they're set probably.
Yeah.
Running back is a position that every year they're on your team, their value goes down. Like you trade JT in a couple years when you want to pay AR, he's gonna get traded for like what CMC. He was one of the most valuable. We agreed he's one of the most valuable running backs, right? He got traded for like a couple third rounders.
For no.
CMC was different though. He was at like a career low because he just wasn't playing. The injuries were going crazy for him. I think if you get traded when you're at your peak, it's different. But CMC just wasn't. He got traded low, and it was a real big boomer bust situation for him, and he just he boomed.
But the reason he was low is because how much money he was making that the team couldn't afford to get him an offensive line. They couldn't afford to get him those things that a running back needs. Because I think running back is the fourth most important thing in the run game. You got the quarterback, the offensive line, and the play calling that just comes in before the running back, in my opinion.
You don't believe that?
Yes, I do.
No, you don't, because you wouldn't be so high on Bijan if you did, because the Falcons ain't got none of that.
The Falcons actually do. The Falcons got a great run blocking game. They have
no weapons and no QB.
The QB, I'll agree with that. But the thing about the QB is he has a run multiplier. Like Desmond Ridder, he in like the read option and stuff, he holds a defender for a slight second. That's how he helps out Bijan. And then the play calling, Arthur Smith, the only thing he does good is call up run plays. That's the only thing he does good. Literally,
he barely calls them. He don't be calling them run plays.
No. Arthur Smith is from the Titans. That's the only thing he does good. Literally, everything else they just traded for another receiver. They ain't gonna do. They just gonna use him as a decoy, man.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna do nothing with him, bro.
With Desmond Ridder on the team, that's completely true. Desmond Ridder is just straight ass.